Welcome to the Daily Shift. You heard that right. The Daily Shift. The show where we block out the noise and speak truth, train your mind, and help you become the absolute best version of yourself. Leo and Andrew are on their way. You're in the right place. And while you're here, take a breath. We're about to dive in. The show starts in 30 seconds. You ready? Take a deep breath in and breathe it out. Prepare for your shift.
Hello and welcome to Monday Motivation. Today I have a very special, short, but power-packed segment where I'm going to help you get way more results with the same amount of effort by changing the way we show up. I'll start off by asking you the question, how have you been showing up? And I asked this question, I was thinking about this the weekend. I was on the flight home from doing a meetup and doing some meetings, and on the flight, I was just writing and asking myself, how am I showing up? And am I getting the results I need to get for my community, for my family, for those around me? And how do I show up better? Something that I didn't realize for many years was your environment, your family, your friends, your team, all of them are a reflection of how we show up, of how you show up. What do I mean by that? I mean, if we are willing to hold ourselves accountable, if we are willing to keep our word to ourselves, if we're willing to show up in a powerful way for ourselves and for our mission, our vision, our business, our team, our family, then that's what they begin to expect of us. And everyone around us begins to level up too. But if we allow ourselves to wander in limbo for weeks, months, or years, then everyone around us will either lower themselves to that level or move on. For the first several years of business, I didn't realize that what it meant that your vibe attracts your tribe. And I was talking to someone over the weekend and coaching them, and I said to them, if you keep allowing yourself to be surrounded by people who pull you down, soon all the good people will flee and go find other high-level people. But if you surround yourself by people who push you up and you push them up, then everyone around you who is not leveled up will either fall off or level up with you. And it's such a beautiful thing because as humans, we can grow in an unlimited way. So today I challenge you. Look at your environment around you and realize it's a mirror. Something I often say, and it's true, is that your bank account is a symptom. Your bank account is a symptom of the actions you've been taking over the last 90 days. We can do a whole lot more than we think we can in such a shorter amount of time than we think we can when we just hold ourselves to a higher standard. So it's time to level up. The energy your team shows up with reflects how we lead. How we lead will cause our team to be at a certain level, to empower them to get to new levels. Think about your last 3 conversations. Did you show up with clarity and specific inclusion, or was it rambling, saying a lot of words to get a few points across? A practice I like to do anytime I'm on the phone for meetings. Most of my meetings are 15 or 30 minutes, but I have a couple of meetings that go much longer. And when I show up for a meeting that is an hour, I always leave that meeting asking myself, how could have I, or how can I next time get the same amount accomplished in 45 minutes or 30 minutes or 15 minutes? If you fly often, I challenge you to think about this. I will sometimes be on a runway, getting ready to take off. I flew over the weekend, so this is fresh on my mind. And every once in a while, you get on a plane and it says the Wi-Fi isn't working for whatever reason. And when I get on a plane and the Wi-Fi is not working, or I'm not sure if it's working, I will find myself checking my phone for any last-minute messages or things I need to handle. Or a person has called me and I needed to give them a quick answer. And I'll find myself right as that plane goes to take off, I'll respond to texts in extremely efficient ways. Or I'll have a conversation in an extremely efficient way. Anything else you need, answer, done. Why? Because I have a very short amount of time to get a lot of things in. Except in life, we have a very short amount of time to get a lot of things in, but we allow ourselves to feel like we got plenty of time. And while I don't mean that you should run stressed the heck out and not sleeping, I don't mean that at all. What I do mean is if I'm on a meeting, I might as well be there and I might as well get a lot accomplished in a little amount of time. I'm there anyway. Why not get more done in less time? Economies of scale often create these solutions. So here is a point I want to make to you as we're going through today, how to get a lot more done with the same amount of effort you're putting in by showing up differently. Be honest with yourself. How have you been showing up? I want to point out to you that it takes a lot of wisdom to know when to pivot. And I share this because I see so many people on one side of the fence, me included. For many years, I would get stuck in a certain rut and I would do the same thing over and over, and it was getting me a certain result. And I was grateful for that result. But it got me into a place where I was just repeating the same darn thing, going, if I keep doing this more, maybe I'll get a better result. Whether that level of tolerance for you has been like it was when I was in my teens, getting to 25 or 30 grand a year, or that level of tolerance for some people, or maybe 100,000 a year, 50,000 a year, 200,000 a year in dollars. Or maybe it's a certain team level or a certain level of church you go to or friends that you're surrounded by, but you get to a certain level of tolerance and you just accept that this is the way life is. And I challenge you today to have the wisdom to know when to pivot. You are at a certain level in your finances, in your friendships, in your life. No, there comes a time where you say, you know what? I've been getting up. I've been doing this routine. I've been doing this level of action. I've been doing this level of deals. It's time for me to level up and to impact more and in a greater way. Because as humans, we were meant to always be growing. We're either growing or dying. So ask God for wisdom to know when to pivot, but also when to plant yourself, when to be consistent. If you've done the same thing for 90 days straight and you've got a certain result and that result is not satisfactory, it may be time to edit the way you're doing things. For example, if you've been getting up every single day for the last 90 days and you've been doing 50 sales calls a day and you have not got a single deal or you've gotten dismal efforts, okay, maybe we need to change what we're doing. Or more often, we've got up every day for 90 days and we've told ourselves we've put in effort, but if we review what we actually did, it was a whole lot less than what we were thinking we did. Now, on the other side of that, if you have got up for 4 days and you made a sales call each day, that's not enough data to know you need to change. Well, that real estate don't work for me. I've called 7 sellers. Yes, maybe you should call a few hundred more before you make that decision. Real estate's not for everybody. I'm using that only as an example. Most people either change too fast and lose the power and momentum they gained, or they stay stuck in the same place for months or years or even decades and never get out of the old patterns to the life they were actually called to. So know when to pivot, know when to plant. If your results are not getting you to the life that you dream of and the mission you are called to, then it's time to make a change. Be willing to change quickly. I ask you to look in the mirror, in the spiritual mirror, in the mind mirror, and ask yourself, am I showing up as the man or the woman that I am called to be? And am I showing up will a future Andrew be proud of how I showed up today? You know, every day I do one of these lives, I come and ask myself, how should have I done better, or how can I do better? For those of you watching this, we do a different topic a different frame each day of the week. On Mondays, it's Monday Motivation. Tuesdays is podcast day. And Wednesdays is called the Deal Room. So we've just launched something on Wednesdays called the Deal Room, where every Wednesday on here, I'm going to be closing deals live and teaching. Well, I'm going to be calling sellers live. If they don't answer, I can't close them. But if they answer, we'll close some, negotiate some, and of course, get to some that say no. But that's okay. And then on Thursdays, we come in and we do a Bible study, because a lot of people have asked us for Bible study. Me and Leo just dig into the Word and study the Bible, have fun doing that. And then Fridays, we have Financial Freedom Friday. Every time I do one of these, I ask myself, how can I do better? How can I show up in a way that serves you better? Because I want every day to be better. I want it to be that when you show up here, that it is something that allows you to grow in a way you're called to do. So I want to shout a couple of you out before I get to my last point and wrap up today. Shout out to Marlon. Thank you for being on. Hello. James, good to see you, brother. Clip Wizard says, I have a question. I don't know if I can answer your question or not. You'd have to first ask it. And for everyone else who's on today, thank you for being on. All right. Today, show up like your future self is watching, and ask yourself, add 5 years to your life. If you're 70, ask your 75-year-old self. If you're 20, ask your 25-year-old self. Anywhere between. Would my 5-year ahead of now self be proud of how I'm showing up today and what I'm doing today? When you raise your internal standard, the world around you will level up. I challenge you to lead every day with intention and alignment. What do I mean by intention and alignment? Write down, ask yourself, where am I called to be 10 years from now? Where do I want to be? What do I want my life to look like? Business aside, what do I want my life to look like? My family, my friends, my kids, my grandkids, my husband, my wife, all the things. What do I want my life to look like? And then ask yourself, is the actions I'm taking today taking me toward that goal or distracting me from that goal? Now, we have to make money. We have to build business. We have to do life. We have to do the things that we do. So I'm not suggesting that you should stop working by any shot. In fact, we probably should do more of it, but more of the right things. You know, there's multiple business models we could be doing right now, but I choose to use the one I'm using because I know it leads me to my mission. I could be doing 10 other businesses right now that probably make at least as much money as we're making in the businesses we're doing, maybe more. But I don't choose those other businesses because I know that what I'm doing now leads me to the mission I'm actually called to. Brings me a lot of joy, and I show up every day blessed and grateful. Raise your standard. Raise your standard this week for yourself. Hold yourself accountable. Ask yourself, is there somewhere I need to pivot and make a change? Is there somewhere I need to be more consistent? Be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror of intentionality and ask yourself, am I doing the things I need to do to get to new levels? Show up every day for yourself. And next week, start taking inventory and watching those around you get on new levels with you. All right? Be blessed. Tomorrow we'll be back with a very exciting episode of the podcast where we'll be interviewing another great business owner. And Wednesday, we'll be back with Deal Room Wednesday where we're calling deals live. All right? I'll see you then. Bye for now, guys. Thanks for being here.